B'shus Abamori. My father told me before I begin that I should say that everything you're going to hear today, he taught me. And therefore, if there's any complaints, they all go to him. Just the Rabbanim Chashuvim, the Bnei Kollel that was like to come in person, and Kollel Kala Kodesh Hazeh. And the truth is that B'derek Klal I talk halacha to the Olam, and to see that it was said that I'm going to speak in Chumash. I'll just mention one word, Ba'avis Nafshi and Yonei Halacha. Yonei Halacha, somebody called me something, the Parsha called me last week on Erev Shabbos, that it was Mamish Negei Halachadik in the Parshas. Bekitzer, just to be mal of the Shaila, they received as a present, they zoichet to have another child, and that child put them over the top, klape their leichters, klape their candelabra. And Shviger zugestellt a new leichter, and the leichter has a 7 konim, 7 legs, 7 what do you call arms? What are they called? Branches. I told you any complaints should go to Mr. Cal. He told me legs, and he has a furniture store. They're saying branches, Dad. What do you want me to do now, Ta? Right? Okay, so the 7 legs that the Olam is calling branches, it has 7 branches. I didn't even know you could find such a thing today because everyone knows there's a Shiloh. Everyone knows there's a Shiloh. And this person seems to hit the jackpot. They called me up and they asked me if it's a Shiloh. It's one word. It's Mamish Negeh, this week's Parsha, where you talk about the Kollel, this week's Parsha, last week's Parsha. And the law is that you're not allowed to make a Keli Kedugmas Tavnes HaHeichel. And it's brought in Shulchan Aruch and Simon Kufman Aleph in Yeridei and Sivches. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to make a menorah of 7, I would have called it prongs, derech agav, but of 7 branches. All complaints that my father can't handle go to Rabbi Gottesman, as you could see. 7 branches. Maisa can't even believe that they exist today. But the Shulchan Aruch in Yeridei, Kuf Mem Aleph, Siv Zayin brings down, it's based on the Gemara, Sayin of Eidazara, Sayin of Rosh Hashanah. It says that you're not allowed to make it. You're not allowed to make such a thing. The Shulchan Aruch says that you're not allowed to make it if it is, for example, if it's made out of any form of metal. Any form of metal is already an Isser, because that's Kedugmas HaMikdash. However, and if you want to see Bekitzer, the Shach in Yeridei brings down, that's only if it's metal. But if it's a different material, so then it's permitted. Because that any time there would be a psul klape, its usage in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Heichel, so then it won't be a problem. So for example, the round, the Pischei Tshuva on the page in Yeridei, the Pischei Tshuva says round is not a heter. Now you have to work this out. Is it because round wouldn't be? You have to be baki in these inyanim, but you have to know: is it because Ayin Sham, he brings down all the rate on this? Is it because that round would taka not be a psul? And round is not ma'akiv, perhaps in the heichel. If round isn't ma'akiv in the heichel, then we understand why. That's the shaila. The Pischei Tshuva says la'alacha. It's an iser gomer to make kedugmas ha'heichel even if it's round. However, he says it has to be, and that's the place can say. The Shach says that's only a comment that it's metal. A comment that's not metal, for example, would be glass. Glass is common today, or a comment that it would be wood. In this case, it was actually marble. It was actually marble, and she hit the jackpot because it won't be a problem. It actually is not a problem, even though it's 7. And the round wasn't what helped us. What helped us was the material, and therefore it would be mutter. Other eitzes that the Paiskim would bring is if you stuff up one of the branches and make it unusable, that would also be potentially an eitzah. Come again? Come again?
You obviated the need of why it was bought in the first place. It's only because she was missing one.
It's only, it won't help over here. Yeah. No, it won't help over here. So the shaila is he's asking, what about the chashmonaim? Chashmonaim, that's the kasha you're all supposed to be asking. This is why I did it. I didn't want to just give a drasha where I just sit like this, right? But the Gemara asked the kasha, and the Gemara says that my kanira was mitzupa with barzel. The inside was made of wood, and it was mitzupa, it was layered with barzel. I say kumtais la'alocha, I don't remember. Come again? It was? A type of metal. Barzel, I just meant the type of metal. Upon him that they actually were mitzapit with metal, and they were mitzapit with metal, so therefore there's no problem. There's no problem. I'm saying therefore it was good. I'm saying, but if it would be just wood, then that wouldn't be our psul, because that would be possible for the avodah. You have to know what's the heter of all these Machon mikdashes that they make all these makeshift things and whatnot. So the menorah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's filled up and it can't be opened. So therefore it's taka unusable. So therefore it's okay. So therefore it's not tavnis hamenorah. There are other things. For example, the Gemara in Zvalchim and Daf Samech Beis says that if it would be lacking in the ribua or it's lacking in this, let's say they make a mizbeach. So if they make it that it's lacking in the ribua, etc. So there are poigim in the mashur, like we saw in Bir Lacha, in Simcha Chafei. The oilam over here is learning Hilchos Tefillin. So those would be the eitzes. I got an interesting shaila. I was in a shul. And I saw that they had dangling from you don't see this too much today because everything today is electric. But they had dangling from the roof. It was in England and it was an old shul. And they had dangling from the roof a 7-branched, I guess call it menorah, candelabra, which had for fire over there. It seemed to be, it was done for yard sites and things like that. But they had a 7-branched menorah. Now what's the heter on that? And it was metal. It was metal and it was fire. It wasn't electric. Maybe you could say electric is not dugmas mikdash, Sorry? Why not? Why not? Oh, so you were Makavin to Hagoyin Rav Chaim Hakoyin Rappaport from about, this goes back a couple hundred years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the minig in the Achikala is whoever's Makavin to Rav Chaim Hakoyin Rappaport makes a kiddush. Is that not correct? Have I got it? No, it's not, I don't think I remember you. We see each other every Wednesday night. Right? $1,000 for, he says for Good Israel. I say for my Kollel, but okay, But upon him, so my father says for him. But the Maisa, Rav Chaim HaKoyin Rappaport says like you. He says if it's missing the base, it's not going to be a problem because it would be possible in the mikdash. As a matter of fact, that would be an eitzah. If the base was made of wood, being that it would be ma'akiv in the mikdash, that it should have a base, and a base that would be wooden base wouldn't be roy for the mizbeach, so therefore it would be okay. Therefore, be okay. I saw on this Rav Chaim Koyin Rappaport, they bring down, it was a mice in the time of some Seifer. Kanir, he's from that Tkufa. But they bring down that it was a mice in the time of some Seifer, and Rabbi Kiva was involved, and they were scared. They were both scared. Rabbi Kiva, I think it sounds more, Rabbi Kiva was scared, and they were both scared to say this kula. And it's very interesting, I don't know, and upon him I saw it, so you see Kanir, if it exists, it's already a mice Rav, I don't know. But that mice, that's Binyane Alocha. So that's, you see, so that I don't want to, that's the parsha. Binyane Alocha in the parsha. It was a gay house at least, or maybe in the Etzema parsha, as the pasuk says in the parsha, the Heintige parsha, Ba'oil moyed michutz la paroiches asher ala eidis yaroich oisei arenu bonov. And the Gemara in Shabbos in Daf Chav Beis Beis, Gemara very famous. Gemara said that the Heilige Bashefer, that's Bayoilam, he needs the oira utzarech. Akash Baruch Hu needs the menorah. He needs the oira utzarech. He needs the light of the candles. What does the Eibush? They need the light. Akash Baruch Hu b'fneinu. For 40 years in the midbar, he brought in front of us fire and he showed us the way. So the key, the oira utzarech, is in fact the Gemara. And the Gemara goes on, and the Gemara says that Bam is taka, it's there for one function, which is like it says in the Heintige Parsha, is that it should be Eidis L'Yisrael. Eidis L'Yisrael, that the Shechina is Shaira in Klal Yisrael. That's the Eidis. What was the Eidis? So Gemara explains that Bam is the Ner Maravi would last, it was put in the amount of oil, the same amount of oil. There was no difference the amount of oil that was put in for the Ner Maravi, and no difference between the other Neres. And Afa Bikain, that one was the one that was there for all 24 hours and lasted the whole entire time. Again, the other Neres didn't necessarily last. I mean, the Gemara Menachos. And Afa Bikain, this Ner lasted to show there was a Neis Chanukah every single day. There was a Neis Chanukah in the Mikdash. After Shtel Zachfor, every day in the Mikdash there was a Neis Chanukah just for one purpose, to show that the Shechina is Shoyra B'Yisrael. Klal Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is none to us. Is Karav the Heilige Bashefer is close to us. As I say, Rav Hutner, Rav Yitzchak Hutner, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. He asked the Shaila. Somebody when I told him what I'm saying today, he asked me, what I'm talking about. So I told him, Rav Hutner, he told me this vort, he thinks that Rav Hutner said at an Aguda convention. He'll correct me or find out, I don't know. He said, apparently he said it at a Aguda convention something like 30, 40 years, some 40 years ago, some 40 years ago. So what was the kasha? Rav Hutner asked the question. Rav Hutner asked, it says that this is the whole purpose of this Nes Chanukah that happened every single day in the Mikdash. What was the purpose of this Nes? What was the tachlis of the nes? So the tachlis was that they should see this Eidus B'Yisrael, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us. You see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us. There's a nes, there's a closeness, there's some type of the Eibishter's presence with us. Shechina Shiur B'Yisrael. In fact, Rav Hutner, who saw it? How many people saw the nes? A handful, maybe. I made a cheshbon today as I was driving. How many people could possibly have seen this nes? The halacha is a bia rekonis is aser. You can't just come into the Kodesh. You can't just walk in. So the people that were allowed to come in were the people that were the one that did the Tavis Aneris, the one that did maybe the Adlaka, obviously, the one that, perhaps by the Ketairis. It was like a handful, it's under a million. It's about 5, less than 10. It's less than 10 people that would have been able to potentially seen this nes. So if I ask the obvious kasha, Eidus B'Yisrael, this is the Eidus for Klal Yisrael, that the Heilig of Hashefer is Shoira amongst us. So you see from over here a tremendous yisoid, and Rav Hutner is the one that he brought this out. As you see from over here, and it's a yisoid probably that in our door you have to hear very, very over and over and over again. You have to hear it's a door that's filled with piercing, a door that's filled with pharmacia, with media, with promo, and it's an idea that you have to hear over and over again. He said, who saw this nes? A po yechidim. A po yechidim saw this nes, and every day they came in and they got chizik. They got chizik in Emunah, they got chizik in Avos Hashem, they got chizik in that the Heilig Hashefer is Shoire B'Yisrael. And there were a few yechidim every day that saw that. And when they saw that, they received chizik. And because they received chizik, they were strong. And because they were strong, the whole Klal Yisrael changed. They all changed because a few yechidim got chizik. And they didn't have to have some, it doesn't have to be. A lot of times everything today is done with Azefil Pearson and Azefil Pearson and media and everything. No, that's called that the Eidus B'Yisrael. Al-Kama that there's yechidim, and the yechidim are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Someone told me that the YYK this year is a bit shvach. So shvach. What's a shvach? If there would be one person here, right? If there'd be one person here, the whole ganze Welt would be nis'ala. It's not so gefährlich. It's not so schwach. Aber stell sich vor, how many Yidden came to be mechazik themselves in Torah? Yechidim, how many Yechidim came and closed up shop and mechazik themselves in Torah? You know what they did? They were mechazik themselves in Torah, so now the whole world will be nis'ala with them in Torah. And it's the same thing in Emunah, and it's the same thing in Avodah. Anytime a Yochid is mekabel on himself, he's stronger in anything that he does. The whole Klal Yisrael is nis'ale with such a person. It's interesting. I think people don't realize this. Where did we would think, where did this, the Yakisha community in Germany, if anybody, Shamshon Nafal Hirsch, you would think like Mamish, Stomach, there was Shamshon Nafal was the Rav of tens of thousands, tausend to mention. We would think Rav Shamshon Nafal his ashpa was felt in the ganze world, and it's a name it's a part of the Messiah. It's a part of the Messiah. You know where it all started from? The reform was it was sweeping through Germany, sweeping through Germany. And Rav Shamshon Nafal in Frankfurt, he saw this Naira tragedy. And what did he do? They told him, maybe Rav Shamshon, maybe you have to, let's open a shul. He had a big koyach. He was a very, very charismatic person in general. And told him, maybe we'll open up a shul. And, we'll give in here and we'll give in here. What are they complaining about? Rav Shamshon, they don't want to say Yikum Porkin. No, they don't want to say Yikum Porkin. What's Brenzach? So he said, no, they're chappering with the Kutzai Shal Yud. The Yud, the Yikum Pork, and they're chappering with the Yud. And he said, no, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to open up a shul, and in that shul, we're going to do everything with the diktuk mamish, with the exact perfection. And he opened up a shul for the people that would be strong, chreidim l'dvar Hashem, as we say. And he had 11 families. 11 families that were willing to come. When you hear Rav Shamshon Nafal, you think that when Rav Shamshon walked into a room, the whole entire planet Earth was there. And eventually it turned into tens of thousands, all the Yekashiyidin that you see, and before the war and after the war and everything. It all came from what? It came from a few Yechidim that were mechazik themselves. It wasn't something done with, like we say, with paparazzi, with Azefil Pearson. And that was what the necessary message is. Shechina Shiur B'Yisrael, the Eidisu to a few people. Once the Yechidim will be mechazik themselves, so then the whole Klal Yisrael will change based on that. And this is something over and over, all the diarists. You see this by Elkanah, the father of Shmuel. There's a Yalkut, it's a Hafladik Yalkut that goes on the Pasuk. And the Pasuk says that Va'ola Ishahu, this man, he's talking about Elkanah, that he would go up every year, Me'irai, Miyamim Yamima, L'svayach L'Hashem Tzvakis B'shilai. So the Yalkut says, this man Elkanah, he was Nis'ale B'Beisai, Nis'ale B'Chatzeirai, Be'iroi, Nis'ale B'Kol Yisrael, V'Kol Al Yosef Haya'ele Mishal Atzmai. It's a little bit of a medrash pliya. It says that he was Nis'ale his house, he's Nis'ale his Chatzer. Chazal over here are being megalatas what the story was. The Aliyah L'Regel was at an all-time low. Maybe like today a little bit. Look, that's the matziv, unfortunately, today. That the Aliyah L'Regel is on an all-time low. And then it was on an all-time low. People were afraid to come to Eretz Yisrael. People were afraid to come up to Yerushalayim. People were afraid to leave their houses. It was a big undertaking, It was a big decision to leave your house and to leave your ganze Vermögen, and you had to have a zeifel amuna. You had to have a lot of amuna in order to leave behind and not to be worried what's going to happen if you leave all your things and whatnot. And it was on an all-time low, and it was mamish together. Only super tzaddikim would come. Could be some of them were potter if they were far away. They were potter and whatnot. So Elkanah, I go Aliyah L'Regel. And Elkanah went up Aliyah L'Regel. He didn't make an Aliyah L'Regel organization. We're all going up L'Regel. And he didn't make a whole self-promo. And he didn't get social media involved. And he went up L'Regel. And Chazal say over here, he went up L'Regel, even though it was difficult. What's difficult? Oh, it took 2 weeks to get there. It took 2 weeks to get back. 3 times a year, it's already 3 months, even if you're bad in math, right? And we're not talking about the amount of time of being there on the Yontif Alein. So we're talking about 3 to 4 months a year, at least. And what did Elkanah do? This man went up all the time. Where did he go, though? He didn't just go. He went slowly. He went and he slept in the city. And people would say to him, what are you doing here? And he would say, I'm going L'Regel. Why don't you go? I can go to Regel, then why don't you go? And the person with tears and chagrin in his eyes, he would say, I want to go to Regel. And slowly, they saw Elkanah was Oyla the Regel. They learned from his personal example. They learned from the example of the tzaddik. He's Oyla the Regel, I'm going to be Oyla the Regel. Azay meant what the medrash, that's what the medrash means. He went up, lashon of the medrash. Nis'ala bebeisai, first he went himself. Memela, nis'ala chatzeroi. The Iroi, Kol Yisrael. But it was all Ela Mishal Atzmai. Because they saw that he did it. He didn't make a whole rush, let's go up L'Regel, let's do this, and let's do that. He went up L'Regel, he did the right thing. A yachid that's mechazik himself. Kollel oilam is nischazik with him. A person that's mechazik himself in Torah, in Emunah, the ganze Welt is nischazik. What does it say by Uncle is the Gemara in Aved Zayin Daf Yud Aleph, Hafa de Gemaisa. Gemara says that his uncle had enough of this. Let's get him back over here. Everyone knows Uncle became a ger. Let's get him back. He sent the troops. Start talking to him and learning. There was a big mistake. He started telling them, Abaisai, by you guys, what do you have? You have Ichmein, you have the president, with vice president, with Pelosi, the ganze chevra over there. No, how's it work? Who holds the candle? Who holds the candle? Ichmein, is it Biden Elaine? I mean, he might drop it, but who holds the candle? So you think that the president is going to hold the candle in front of the whole oilam? No, the one that holds the candle, the lowest person, he's the one that holds the candle. He says, by uns, by us, the heilige b'shefer, it's pum faker punkt. You know what goes by us? By us, the heilige b'shefer, yoimam v'layla with the eish omed in front of Klal Yisrael, and the Adarabah, the biggest, because that's the function of the leader, and he's the one that went with the candle, with the fire in front of Klal Yisrael. Pshain, the kids said they heard that, gave him. Pshain, next time the uncles looked there, listen, Herzog and don't speak to him. Nothing, not a word, okay? Except, okay, not a word. They put on him a face, some type of a mask. The kid said, he's walking out, gives a kakush to the mezuzah, gives a kiss to the mezuzah. He said, what's that? He starts telling them mezuzah, the whole same story. He starts telling them, by you guys, who watches you, you have to watch the king. By us, the Heilige B'Shefer protects. Boom, Kitzer, they all became Gerim. And the uncle said, no more. He's going to lose the whole Roman Empire over here. And that was it, no more. Ich hab kasha. Let's say feel Kiriv in the Welt heint. Why don't we just use this? If you can get some Roman gladiators, do you understand what pictures he had in his room? These Roman gladiators, they had pictures of big Roman gladiators with bones through their noses, eating people. And those are the pictures of the Gahat in the Haim. No, and he was able to make those guys into Balei Tshuva. No, so somebody that stood on Har Sinai, one of ours, he stood on Har Sinai. He said, okay, so he went off the derech and whatnot. You don't think we can get him back? We'll use the methodology of Unkelis. He was able to get some Roman gladiator who didn't stand in our Sinai. So you don't think we can get them back? So let's go and teach the methodology of Onkelos. And with that, we'll get back Tolzen to Yidden. We'll get back all of the Eibishter's Tzayin of the Rebbeinu Shalom Tzayin Kedoshim. That we'll get them back. What's the Pshat? Pshat is Pashit. By him, it was without that, God, it was from the Tyrus Alev. They saw by Onkelos that it was real. It was by Onkelos, it wasn't there just to get them, and it wasn't there. Onkelos, it was Kol, Kulai. They saw the Tyrus Alev. They saw the Tyrus Alev. They saw the Tyrus Alev. Rabbi Yisrael Yankov Fisher, somebody once came to Rabbi Yisrael Yankov, and he told her she was crying to Rabbi Yisrael Yankov. Rabbi Yisrael Yankov's door was open, the great Ravid of Yerushalayim. His door was open. A lady came in, and she said her brother was just nifter, and he was such a good person. And he was nifter, Nachalti was nifter, and went on Shabbos, and he was such a tzaddik. Why did Eibush to do this? So he said, how is he nifter? What happened? He said he was driving on Shabbos, and he got into a car accident. So Shal Yankov Fisher said, so das is a tzaddik, das is a Rasha. Today, you'd say such a thing, you'd be arrested, Mr. No? And then you tell that the person, B'shas there. This woman became a Balas Tshuva because of that story. What happened over here? That's the worst kiruv method I ever heard in my life, right? I tried it. I got a Misha Beta, right? What's the pshat? The teretz is pashe. It all depends on the Tyrus Alev. He said it. He was emistic. She saw the emes. She saw Kol Hashem B'Koyach. She saw the emes. She saw the emes. She saw without the, she saw the emes. She saw the emes, and that's what Rabbi said. It's a big message over here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the Yechidim. The Heilig Abba Shafi wants that Eidus to be shared by the Yechidim. It says, that the Chafetz Chaim, when he got married the second time, he was an older man already. The Chafetz Chaim was 70 years old. Chafetz Chaim was already 70. And at the time, they were being Matziyah Meshidach. She was 35 years old. Right? She was half his age. And she said she doesn't think it's going to work, but she's masking to meet him. The Chafetz Chaim, when he came, if I would have been the Chafetz Chaim, I would have said like this. But he went on a date, right? But yeah, you see, he went on a date. But you see, he was also an older bacher. But okay, right? So the Chafetz Chaim, there was no Lashon Hara on that. Chafetz Chaim said to her, he said, well, I would have said if I be the Chafetz Chaim, I would have said, me, I'm the Tzaddik Ador. You know that? You know that you have here the Sefer Mishtabura? I would have, but I'm not allowed to be a Balgaiva, so the Eibush to help me write it, What would I have said? I would have said, I'm the Chafetz Chaim. What did the Chafetz Chaim say? Chafetz Chaim said, listen, Eretz Chaim. He told her, he said, Gvir bin ich nicht, Geld hab ich nicht, I don't have money. And he said, and a younger bin ich nicht, and I'm not a young man, but I'll be mishtadel to give whatever a Yiddish meidel daft, whatever a Jewish girl needs, I'll try to help. I'll try to give whatever she needs, whatever a Jewish woman needs, As a husband, I'll try to give her. On the spot, she was verkauft. But the Tyrus Alev. That's what the Chazal are teaching us over here. The Maisa, this is a big aside, and I think that it's a big aside that you see, today is a message that has to be given over. It's a message that has to be given over. Somebody comes, it was bothered me. People were talking about how the Kallus is schwacher than usual. Narishkeit. Schwacher than usual, stronger than ever. Because that means that there were more Yechidim that had to make decisions. There were more Yechidim, and there were Yechidim that come out. I'm not saying anybody who didn't come, everybody has Dechesh Bainis, and we verstehe Dechesh Bainis, right? But a person that had to come this year, which was a Yochid making a decision without the paparazzi and without the media and without this, and he came this year, he was Nis'ala, Sayin Torah, Sayin Avis Yisrael, Sayin that's him coming to Eretz Yisrael. This is itself something which is its own Ruchniistic Aliyah. So that itself is Mala the person, and the whole ganze Klal Yisrael has an Aliyah from that. The whole ganze Klal Yisrael. So what did Reb Hutner teach us? 5 people saw this maybe a day. 5 people saw the names, and that was Eidis B'Yisrael. And we'll be able to give that message over to our children. They're living in a door of Gans paparazzi, Pearson. If it doesn't happen with Pearson, it doesn't happen with this and that, it didn't happen. And that is the message that has to be given over to them. You have to know that B'tznias, Klal Yisrael does B'tznias, and when a Yochid is Nis'ala, the Gans Klal Yisrael is Nis'ala with him. That we should see Skayim in the world, that we should feel the Shekhinah, the Eibishter should come back to us with that level of Shekhinah, and we should see the Shekhinah Shaira B'Yisrael. Now, no more drush, Rabbi Yisai. Go learn. Because Thursday morning,